Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Weekends with Alex Witt. Let's get to what's happening right now out there. We're going to start with the developing news in the Edward Snowden saga this morning. The presidents of Venezuela and Nicaragua have both offered the NSA leaker asylum in their countries. Snowden has now been holed up in the Moscow airport for nearly 2 weeks. And joining me from Moscow at the very latest, NBC's Jim Maceda. Jim, with a good day to you. First of all, the reality of these asylum offers. I mean, could they both actually be implemented?
Hi there, Alex, and good day to you. Well, they are both realistic, that's for sure. Venezuela, along with Bolivia, have all along been the odds-on favorites among pundits here to offer asylum to Snowden. Nicaragua has been on that list, but most have thought that Nicaragua is just trying too hard right now to improve relations with the U.S. to really make a move for Snowden. And there's also a number of conditions apparently attached to Nicaragua's offer. But Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, when he was here in Moscow earlier in the week for that energy summit, he was very vocal on his support for Snowden. He then seemed to back off, saying that he'd have to gauge world reaction first. But then you'll recall there was that Bolivian plane incident in which the president's plane was grounded in Vienna because of a tip, mistaken tip, it turned out, that Snowden was on board. Well, after that, Maduro and other leftist South American leaders called it an affront to their dignity. So really, we can interpret this offer for asylum from Maduro as an act of defiance against America, and something he'll likely carry through. That said, Alex, Venezuela does have an extradition treaty with the U.S., and we understand that Washington has already requested that Venezuela arrest and hand over Snowden if he either lands in or transits through Venezuela. Alex?
Okay, so let's say that he does get asylum from one of these two countries. Is there a sense, Jim, that Russia will help Snowden get to one of those countries, if for no other reason than to make him someone else's problem?
Very good question. And there is no question, really, Alex, that Vladimir Putin wants to see Snowden's back as soon as possible. He wants him out of the country. But he has to be very careful with this hot potato. You know, the old cliche is he doesn't want to burn himself. Snowden has a lot of support among Russians here. Many of them wanted to grant him asylum in Russia. So the Kremlin is moving gingerly here. They certainly will help Snowden behind the scenes, get him on a plane headed to Caracas, for instance. But it's got to look like it's Venezuela's problem. Venezuela has to sort out the necessary paperwork, for instance. The travel document, there's some talk about a refugee pass that could be given to him by the Venezuelan government. Putin wants to appear to be neutral in this, and it's for political reasons. If he appears to help Snowden too much, it could further hurt relations with America. Not helping him enough could hurt his stand with the Russian public. So that's really why Snowden's been such a headache for Vladimir Putin. Alex?
Okay, Jim Maceda there in Moscow with the latest. Thank you so much for that. We're going to go from Moscow now to Washington and the White House. NBC's Kristen Welker is standing by with more on this. So first up, Kristen, any reaction from the White House?
Well, we've got the emails out, Alex, but no reaction yet from the White House. As you heard Jim say, there does seem to be an extradition request from the United States to Venezuela. The Guardian newspaper has actually posted a link to that on its website, and it is dated July 3rd, so a couple of days ago. That's important to note. But senior administration officials have been consistent on this point really for the past several weeks, which is that they are in contact with a number of different countries that might harbor or grant asylum to Edward Snowden, and have really sort of sent those countries a warning, which is that if that were to happen, it could harm relations with the United States. Of course, Venezuela has a strained relationship with the United States, has a close relationship with Vladimir Putin. President Maduro of Venezuela has been quite critical of the United States foreign policy. You just heard Jim talk about that to some extent. But this is also sort of a headache for President Obama. Publicly, he has come out and tried tried to sort of downplay this. You remember that he said a little while ago, Alex, several days ago, that he wasn't going to scramble a bunch of jets to get a 29-year-old back. But behind the scenes, there is certainly a lot of maneuvering going on, trying to get Edward Snowden back. A lot of critics on Capitol Hill who've questioned the administration's handling of this, who've said that this makes President Obama and this administration look weak on the world stage. And then you have the other side of it, which are the people who say that Edward Snowden should not be criminalized. 128,000 people have taken to the White House website, basically saying that Edward Snowden should be freed. So this is a tough situation for the White House, but no reaction yet.
Okay.
Alex.
Kristen there from the White House. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Let's go now to front page politics.